Alright, welcome to today's video. I'm going to quickly go over, well, not quickly, it'll probably take a little bit of time, but we're going to go over how to do a few things. One will be, we're going to set up a code that will track, well actually calculate what strikes are trending towards 100K volume for 0 DTE. And the second one will essentially just highlight open interest. That way you kind of have a better visual of things, okay? So first and foremost, we're on Thinkorswim, and this is again for 0 DTE, so that's where the volume is mostly at. It's August 21st, so I have 60 strikes selected. That's what I typically use, so my code is set up for 60. You could change that within the code to whatever amount of strikes you normally transfer, if it's less or more than 60, so I'll just have it set up at 60. And again, this is also very important. I have these categories. So I have delta, gamma, implied vol, open interest, volume, vega, bid, and ask in this order, right? And on the right side where the puts are, I have in this order. But that's essentially what I have on my Thinkorswim. So in order for this code to work, you kind of want to have the same setup. So I'll go ahead and transfer this over to, or export it over to my Excel. So I'm just going to click on export and select to Microsoft Excel. The blue pop-up means it's been copied. I'm going to go ahead and open Excel now and click on the blank worksheet and just copy it into cell A1 and paste it into cell A1. Alright, so this should come in and it should be flowing in real-time data. You'll see things changing. I'm just going to highlight column G and W because this is where the volumes are for calls and puts and where we're focusing on. First thing we want to do is in cell R4, and again I'm only using cell R4 because this is how I had it set up on my original Excel, and you can change this to whatever, just make sure you update it on the code. So I'm going to highlight cell R4 and go into the bar and put in this formula. This is for time in a trading day, which is typically 6.5 hours. So this will, based on this time, the formula will calculate what is trending, which strike is trending towards 100K plus volume. Okay, so once we have this, we're going to go over to Developer and then click on Visual Basic. And so you'll get this now, and we're going to click on Insert, select Module, and you're going to put in this code here. And again, all of this will be in the the video description, as well as on my Discord if you decide to hop on there and join. So here we go, copy and paste. Very important, when you copy and paste this code, you'll see on the fourth line, it'll say replace if your sheet name is different. So when I created this originally, let me go back to the previous screen. You see on my Excel, on the bottom left, this tab is titled Sheet 1. Right? On my code, it's titled Volume Log. So I'm just going to keep it as it was originally on my code, as Volume Log. Right? And just press Enter. And then just go back to the module, and what I'm highlighting is where it's titled Volume Log. If I just kept it as you saw earlier as Sheet 1, I would just need to update this to Sheet 1. So make sure whatever your Excel is titled, that on this fourth line in parentheses you have it written exactly as that. Okay? So once you have that there, now you can click on the green play button. Oops, sorry, first you want to highlight Module 1, click the green play button, and then click Run. Then you can close this, and you'll see now that we have on the call side these two highlighted, and on the put side these two highlighted, showing that based on the time that's running towards the close, these two strikes are trending towards 100K plus in volume. Just for example's sake, like if I go here to this strike, which has very low volume, and I change this to, let's say hypothetically, 90,000, it didn't highlight, right? And this is because we need to add a secondary code which will auto update as things change. So what I wanted, I'm just gonna reset that to keep it as original, and now we're gonna add the second part of the code. So you're gonna go back to Visual Basic, and in this for this code, you're not gonna create a new module or add it to this module. You're gonna double click on this workbook. Double click that, you'll see a blank sheet, and you're simply gonna copy and paste the second part of this code, which is very short, as you see here. And again, on the second line, you'll see volume log. So again, make sure that it's titled in parentheses to whatever your sheet is named. And you don't need to do anything here. You just close this. Right, now if I go back to the same cell and put 90K, you'll see it highlighted, right, meaning that it's trending towards 100K. And if I change this now to 40K, you'll see it removed. So 2 parts to the code. The second part, you just enter it in, and it should auto save. You don't have to click play or anything. As long as you originally clicked play on that module, this should be working. The second part that I wanted to do is focus on the open interest. So let me just kind of clear this out so we get this yellow out of here. So we're going to focus on the open interest now, which I have in columns F and V. So for this code, we're going to go again to Visual Basic, and you want to create a new module, so insert a new module. And then same thing, we're going to copy and paste the code, which I'll provide in the item description or the video description. And same thing as I mentioned before in the previous 2 codes, you want to make sure that your Excel is titled correctly, same as the code as it is on the tab in the bottom left. And you also want to make sure that you're using the proper cells. So again, my open interest was in column F, cells 10 through 69. So again, you want to make sure that those are changed properly, as you see in the code. And essentially what this is doing is just highlighting the open interest that has 2,000 or higher, right? And you can change this number to whatever you like. But for this example, let's use 2,000 as it is by default. And then you're just gonna go to the green play button. And this is gonna be, you're gonna highlight high open interest and just click run. And then we'll just close this out. And now you'll see that these open interests are now highlighted. Again, just nothing crazy, it's just something for the visual, so you can see when you start your day where the high open interest is without having to look through. And you can again change this. I have it by default to 2,000. You can change it to whatever you like. And that's essentially it. So hopefully this helps you out. Just creates a little bit of a better visual. And again, you can customize this wherever you like. Just make sure you pay attention to the code. And again, you gotta make sure you put the timer right here on R4, and make sure that on the bottom left, the volume, the sheet 1 is titled to exactly the same as it is in the codes. All right. Thank you. Take care.